HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents Tech Generation: Raising Balanced Kids in a Hyper-Connected World by Mike Brooks, Ph.D., and Jon Lasser, Ph.D. Read by Stephen J. Cohen. Preface. As parents, we make decisions every day about how we should raise our kids. We put time and energy into ensuring that their needs are met. While every family is unique, we generally want our kids to be physically healthy, to do well in school, to maintain friendships, to develop interests and hobbies, and to engage with family members. If you are looking for how to best achieve these goals, there are literally thousands of parenting books on the market. Where is a busy parent to start? Many of the published books offer solutions that are designed to be short and simple, and there's something about a quick fix that many people find appealing. After all, if a child's disobedience is disruptive at home and school, one is highly motivated to solve the problem as soon as possible. But as psychologists and parents, we know that parenting challenges rarely have simple solutions. Often, change comes from improving underlying relationships. If you are concerned about your child's use of technology in his or her daily life, then you have come to the right place. In our clinical practices and in our own homes, we have observed the ways in which technology has affected the lives of children and families. There have certainly been some positive influences, such as greater capacities to communicate and to be entertained, but many parents express concern that screen time adversely affects the quality of family time and academics. While there are no quick fixes to these thorny problems in life, there is definitely hope. Just as a person can become physically fit with determination, a plan, and hard work, families can learn to achieve a more balanced use of technology. The good news is that the changes that we make now can have an immediate impact as well as benefits for years to come. Because we know that technology is pervasive and that many parents are hungry for answers, we wrote this book to address these major concerns, emphasizing the role of prevention and providing research-based information that may be helpful in reducing excessive or unhealthy screen time usage. While we offer guidance on issues such as when kids should get smartphones and how much screen time kids should be allowed, we offer an approach to such issues that's more flexible than the simple rules and admonitions one might get from a quick fix. Complex problems must be addressed with recognition that context and individual differences matter. A one-size-fits-all approach can't ever fit all. This book opens with some background information about what technology has to offer, as well as the very real costs that come with it. We have much to gain in the areas of information, entertainment, and social connectivity, but many of us pay for it with sleep loss, distractibility, and diminished face-to-face interaction in real life. If these background chapters interest you less, and you are more interested in taking action right away, feel free to skip ahead to Chapter 7 after listening to the introductory chapter. It is there that we introduce our tech-happy life model, which you can put into use right away. We've developed our approach based on our experiences as researchers, clinicians, and parents. Dr. Mike Brooks earned his doctorate in educational psychology and has been a gamer since the dawn of the video game era. He did his dissertation research on the effects of video game violence on children, and he worked as a usability specialist in the tech sector in the first decade of the 2000s. He has been presenting on the effects of technology for over a decade to schools, parents, students, and community groups. In his clinical practice, Dr. Brooks frequently works with kids, teens, and families to help them find a healthy screen balance. Now a father of 3 school-aged boys who love video games as much as their dad, he is constantly working to manage the strong pull of the screens on his kids and on himself. Dr. Jon Lasser earned a Ph.D. in educational psychology and has worked as a university professor and psychologist in the public schools, as well as a clinician in private practice, serving children and families from preschool through high school. With 2 daughters now in their 20s, he has had direct experience navigating the rocky terrain of screen time with his own children. In his private practice, Dr. Lasser works with children and their parents to promote social, emotional, and behavioral wellness. In many cases, Dr. Lasser works with kids and their parents to deal with the many challenges presented by screen time in family life. He is the Associate Dean for Research in the College of Education at Texas State University. We hope you'll find that this book stands out from other resources because our approach emerges from a relationship model. In other words, how we interact with and relate to our family members guides how we spend our family time, shapes the way we communicate, and informs our decisions about boundaries, limits, and discipline. This book isn't a recipe for a 6-week digital detox, but rather a blueprint from which parents and caregivers can draw both inspiration and guidance. Moreover, our approach can help with parenting in the broader sense, not merely with regard to screen use. Most chapters have some brief vignettes that will likely resonate with you. Many of us have experienced frustrations around kids who don't want to relinquish digital devices. Some parents recognize that the adults in the house have not themselves modeled the balance that they would like to see in their kids. If the examples provided in the book seem realistic, it's because they have been adapted from examples we've observed in our own families and in our clinical practices. Some of these vignettes were also inspired by discussions with friends and colleagues. We have changed names and other details to maintain confidentiality. We hope that you find this book helpful and that it promotes family conversation about technology. The goal is quite simple: to help get the best out of technology to improve our lives while taking steps to minimize its negative effects. While we offer no instant remedies to such a challenging problem, our tech-happy life model can provide both strategies and guidance to help you and your family achieve the balance that you seek. Mike Brooks, Ph.D., LSSP, licensed psychologist and licensed specialist in school psychology, director of the Autism Psychology and Assessment Center, APA Center. Jon Lasser, Ph.D., LSSP, licensed psychologist and licensed specialist in school psychology, professor and associate dean, Texas State University. 1. Introduction. Diane was exasperated. Her son and daughter, age 5 and 7, asked incessantly for permission to play games on the iPad and would often throw a tantrum when she said no. When she did say yes, she dreaded telling them that their time was up, as they would invariably challenge her limit setting and beg for more time. She didn't object to iPad games. She even enjoyed them from time to time herself, but she also wanted her kids to have opportunities to be active outside and express themselves creatively. In her effort to establish some boundaries around screen time, She felt exhausted by the battles when her kids resisted. Evan came home late one night from a business trip and was surprised to see the lights on in his 15-year-old daughter Kelsey's room. Evan opened the door and saw his daughter on her phone, most likely using Snapchat. Evan gave Kelsey a kiss, asked her to turn off her phone and go back to bed. Kelsey looked disappointed, but complied after some frantic texting. Evan looked at his watch. 12:48 a.m. He shook his head and went to bed, wondering whether his wife even knew that Kelsey had been up so late after she had gone to bed. Evan worried that Kelsey's social media use was interfering with her much-needed sleep. Diane and Evan's stories are our stories too. As parents, we have struggled with the challenges of raising children in a hyper-connected world. If you are listening to this book, you probably share our concerns and are searching for some guidance. One of the best places to start is with a parent screen time checklist. Which of the following statements apply to you? I'm concerned that my kids have too much screen time. For example, computer, television, smartphone, video games, iPad, tablet. I want my kids to be more engaged with the world and the people around them. I worry that children's access to technology can compromise their safety. To be successful adults, children need to be comfortable with advanced technology. I give my kids access to some technologies because most of their peers already have access, and I don't want my kids to be left out. It's not clear to me at what age kids are ready for some technologies. For example, smartphones, social media, and certain video games. It's hard to find the right balance between kids' needs for screen time and non-screen time. If you relate to any of the statements mentioned, then you share something with us. A belief that kids benefit from technology, but that there need to be some limits in place to avoid potential problems. Our goal with this book is to provide practical, useful solutions for parents who struggle with balancing kids' use of technology. We want to maximize the many benefits of technology while minimizing the negatives. When we talk to parents about these issues, we hear questions such as the following. When should I introduce my children to electronic media? How much screen time should kids have? When should I get my child a smartphone? When should I allow my child or teen access to social media? How do I know if it's too much screen time? What do I do if my child is abusing or misusing technology? Easy answers to these questions are hard to come by because each family is unique, so a one-size-fits-all approach won't work for everyone. Within this book, you will find a resource that's easy to understand, research-based, and flexible enough for all kinds of families with kids of different ages. What you're listening to isn't a prescription for healthy technology use, but rather a guide that will help you make informed parenting decisions around family technology usage. As psychologists, we're sensitive to the idea of developmentally appropriate technology and media for children and adolescents. Video games and apps have rating systems, much like those used for movies, that help parents determine whether kids are ready for a variety of entertainment options. However, the rules are less clear when it comes to the appropriate ages for tablets, smartphones, and access to social media platforms. This book aims to eliminate some of the guesswork for parents trying to raise balanced kids in a hyper-connected world. Out of balance technology use. If they can look up from their own smartphones, tablets, and laptops long enough, what some parents see in their kids' technology use may alarm them. Many children under the age of 2 have access to digital media, even though the American Academy for Pediatrics reports that for children younger than 2 years, evidence for benefits of media is still limited. Adult interaction with the child during media use is critical, and there continues to be evidence of harm from excessive digital media use. Parents have seen a rapid growth in the number of apps, technologies, and television programs intended to improve skills like reading, math, problem solving, and memory. Yet, a quick glance reveals some unsettling statistics regarding toddlers and kids' screen time, causing parents to weigh the risks and benefits of an increasingly hyper-connected world. 38% of kids under the age of 2 had access to media on a mobile device. Preschool children average around 4 hours of TV or video time during weekdays. 44% of elementary school children use smartphones regularly. Kids aged 8 years old and under spend only 3.6% of their screen time on homework or accessing educational content. Adolescent and young adult use of technology looks disturbing as well. When we look around, teens can be seen clutching their smartphones regardless of whether they are using them, as if the smartphones were part of their bodies. Even when they are socializing in groups, teens are often texting away and not even really socializing much with the friends who are standing right next to them. Amber, age 18, was on a special European summer vacation with her parents before she was to leave for college. Amber was very active on social media and used Instagram and Snapchat to keep in almost constant contact with her friends. She hoped to share her European adventures with them as she experienced them. Amber's parents had been saving money for quite some time to create an experience together that they hoped to cherish for years to come. While in Tuscany, Amber was frustrated about spotty cellular service. She wanted to post selfies to Instagram and Snapchat with the picturesque Tuscan landscape in the background. She became so obsessed with finding cellular service that she stopped appreciating her surroundings altogether. She got into some heated arguments with her parents about this. In exasperation, she screamed at them, "You don't understand. If I can't share all this with my friends, what's the point?" Her parents were both hurt and frustrated by their daughter's behavior. They felt particularly sad that they had paid so much money for what was supposed to be a magical bonding trip with their daughter, who was about to leave home. Some of the unsettling statistics regarding teens' technology use include the following. Teens aged 13 to 18 average 9 hours of entertainment media use per day, excluding screen use for school or homework. 24% of teens report using the internet almost constantly. 50% of teens report feeling addicted to their phones, and 59% of parents report that they feel that their teens are addicted to their phones. 32% of youth aged 10 to 23 have posted personal information, for example, social security number, online. 32% have posted their phone number, and 11% have posted their home address. 23% of youth, aged 10 through 23, have witnessed cruelty online, and 13% report being a victim of it. Between 8% and 38% of girls and boys report viewing images of sexual violence or child pornography online before age 18. Over 90% of boys in the United States report that they have viewed pornography online before age 18. Given the amount of time that kids and teens are viewing various screens, there are good reasons to be concerned that their screen time is out of balance and that the content available to them may present significant health and safety risks. What do we mean by balanced? A balanced approach to the use of technology aims to reap the advantages of screen time and to reduce its negative aspects. We like technology and think that it serves many useful purposes in our professional and personal lives. These benefits include increased productivity and creativity, enhanced communication, and easy access to multiple forms of entertainment. However, we also know that too much of a good thing can be detrimental. So by balance, we don't mean that technology should be eliminated. Rather, we think that parents can be thoughtful and considerate about setting limits and monitoring technology use. This helps children and families gain the many positives of technology while minimizing its adverse effects. Ultimately, one of the goals of parenting is to help children learn self-regulation. After all, they will eventually leave our active care, and we want them to go with the values and skills to manage their lives effectively. We keep this goal of the balanced use of technology in mind throughout this book. Technology as the double-edged sword. There remains little doubt that technology has enhanced our lives and has brought great happiness and productivity to children and adults alike. Microprocessors, broadband internet, and wireless technologies have enhanced our capacities to connect with one another, create, collaborate, play, and share with greater ease, freedom, and efficiency. To be clear, this book is not about demonizing screens, but rather acknowledging some of the concerns associated with too much screen time and promoting solutions to those problems. Ironically, aspects of our lives that have been enhanced the most by technological change have also become the most vulnerable. French cultural theorist Paul Virilio observed, "The invention of the ship was also the invention of the shipwreck." One can say the same about social media platforms, such as Facebook and Instagram, which facilitate communication and social connection. The ease of connection afforded by these platforms also opens the door to cyberbullying, sexual predation, distracted driving, and sexting. Curiously, in an effort to enhance relationships through social media, often teens and adults experience fewer meaningful relationships. What does it look like when we're out of balance with technology? Decreased face-to-face social interaction, reduced or disrupted sleep, decreases in focused, uninterrupted attention, decreased productivity, limited physical activity. Previous interests and recreational activities replaced almost exclusively by technology. Decreased sense of well-being. So, what does balance look like? Since each family is unique, balance will look different for everyone. Ideally, families that achieve balance feel good about the amount of technology in their lives. Each family member is relatively comfortable with how other family members use their technology. Also, a balanced use of technology means that individuals are able to effectively meet their own physical, educational, social, and psychological needs so that they are, in a sense, happy and productive. But we also recognize that balance is a moving target. As children mature and the available technologies change, parents will continue to reevaluate, monitor, and have conversations with their family members about how they can best obtain the positives that technology has to offer without letting it interfere with overall happiness. In this sense, balance can be considered an ongoing process that requires monitoring and adjustments. It's not just the kids. Brittany, age 15, expressed ongoing frustration to her therapist about her mother's cell phone use. When she picks me up from school, she won't get off her cell phone. She doesn't even stop to ask me how my day went. She keeps talking on it all the way home." True to form, when her mother picked her up from sessions, Miss Jones was on her cell phone from the moment she walked into the office until the moment she left. The therapist attempted to address these issues with the mother, but she was not receptive to changing her own behavior. Parents can be out of balance as well, particularly if they are spending too much time on their devices at the expense of meaningful interactions with their children. We serve as models for our kids and must think about the examples we set when we spend too much time on our computers and phones. As parents, we don't get a free pass just because we are engaging in work. From our kids' perspectives, we are disengaging from the family and our relationships to check texts and email, get news updates, and post to Facebook. In a 2016 survey conducted by the nonprofit organization Common Sense Media, 28% of teens reported that they felt like their parents were addicted to their phones, and 27% of parents reported that they felt addicted to their phones. Like the old anti-drug public service announcement on TV, many of our kids might rightly claim, "I learned it from watching you." Technology as death by 1,000 cuts. While screen time poses many dangers, for example, sexting, cyberbullying, texting while driving, perhaps there is one subtler danger that supersedes all the rest. It is the insidious way that screen time has infiltrated all of our lives. Technology has become so much a part of our lives that we cannot imagine being without it. Not only kids, but also parents, seem tethered to cell phones. These cell phones capture all of the promises and challenges of technology in one small but immensely powerful device that fits into the palm of our hands. We have gone beyond being connected to often being hyper-connected, to our detriment and that of those around us as well. The allure of technology is like the seductive nature of the dark side of the Force in the Star Wars mythology. Our original intentions are good, but then the technology begins to have a power over us. We are no longer using it to serve our wants or needs. Instead, we become beholden to it, like servants who must constantly respond to its bidding. Our kids and teens are particularly vulnerable to the siren's call of technology. Indeed, there is some evidence to suggest that young brains are susceptible to becoming wired for and dependent upon technology to get periodic fixes. It appears that the same reward system in the brain that is involved in drug addiction is also involved in behavioral addictions, such as gambling and, possibly, use of digital technologies. Moreover, it may be that we have all become conditioned to respond to the sounds of our phones. Much like Pavlov's dogs, who were trained to salivate upon hearing the sound of a metronome that was repeatedly paired with food, according to University of Michigan neuroscientist Dr. Kent Berridge, the ding of our phones likely cues us to respond the same way that Pavlov's metronome cued his dogs to salivate. Essentially, technologies such as texting and social media appear to create an itch that must be scratched. The constant pull of technology that causes us to be tethered to our screens is leading to the proverbial death by 1,000 cuts. Our happiness can be undermined by technology. It can be argued that our primary goal in life is to seek happiness and minimize suffering. We are not talking about happiness through stimulating our nerve endings, which is more accurately referred to as pleasure. That has its place in life, but we all know that seeking too much pleasure can lead to a lot of unhappiness. We are talking about a deep-rooted contentment in life. In a sense, every goal we have in life, such as attending a competitive college and getting a good job ultimately is aimed at increasing our sense of happiness or well-being. As parents, our
Sample complete. Ready to continue?